opportunity to be in conversation with Dr. Lakshminarayanan, who is a doctor and runs a wellness and healing center in Bangalore. The Academy of Inner Wisdom is dedicated to help individuals who is suffering from anxiety, depression, especially trauma and sleeping disorders. It was a very insightful conversation from the doctor, and we had an opportunity to ask several questions related with sleep, how to manage sleep cycle, how to handle trauma, what kind of therapies that they offer in the academy. And we are very grateful for having Doctor for the conversation, and I hope this session is going to be a very useful session for everyone.
Oh, but naturally, it's good to cry. Okay. Because crying is a practice that helps us to connect with the core muscles.
Okay.
It engages the core muscles. So that also gives a sense of relief.
So talking about sleep, how important sleep is, and how much hours should a person sleep, and what kind of implications will irregular sleep cycles cause on a human being?
Differs.
Okay.
So when you're happy, we breathe in a very different way than you're sad.
Okay.
When you're angry, we breathe in a very different way than you're fearful.
So, very good evening. It's a privilege to have you in our podcast. Thank you so much for accepting my invite. Welcome to Undefined. So, you are a doctor in homeopathy. You completed your graduation in medicine, and now you are into wellness and therapy. So, what made you come into the field? You help a lot of people heal their problems, and you have created a better life for them. So this is a great position where you have chosen, but what exactly is the reason that you have shifted from medicine to this field? And I would like to know about your journey from where it all started, sir.
Thank you, Vinod, for this opportunity. For me, I was more curious about understanding human dynamics, what shapes up human behavior, why they behave the way. So it was always curious to me. I did a lot of training and development. So I went to a lot of inner self training programs.
Okay.
So for myself, I went to a lot of rigorous programs as well. So as I was doing it, then I realized, but still there is still some element of sadness, within me, some anger, some upset. I couldn't understand why it is still there even after doing a lot of inner work.
Wow.
So that made me to be much more curious.
Yes.
So that is when I started learning other avenues. I did neuro-linguistic program, courses on emotional intelligence. So I was doing a more online course with MIT University. Wow. So there was a person, Dr. Thomas Hubel. He was talking about word called trauma. As trauma as a collective conscious, how it shapes our experience. So that word was very intriguing for me. As from the medical background, I know trauma as accident, hospital, trauma care hospitals. But trauma as consciousness was something new. So then I was much more intrigued, and I started reading his book. So then I understood how trauma as a consciousness shapes our thinking pattern, shapes our actions, how we behave in life. So that made me to get into this field, because when I started reading it, so that's when I realized, okay, this is a missing link I've been looking for a long time.
Okay. Yes.
But that answered most of my questions.
Yes.
So after then, I read a lot of books on trauma. I did in-depth courses as well. So that realizations and that healing journey made me to create this new profession itself.
Wow.
It's not a new profession. It's been almost 5 years, I can say.
Yes.
No, sir.
That's quite a lot of experience, sir. So talking about trauma, we have heard that word a lot of times from many parts of the world. What exactly is a trauma? And when a person who is actually suffering in that situation, what kind of measures should he take to relieve himself without getting his losing his inner stability? So is it possible to overcome trauma by any practice, sir?
That's a good question. So I know after it now we see social medias with trauma, movies talking about trauma. Trauma is, in a simple term, anything that is too overwhelming to deal with.
Okay.
It could be different for different people. No, it's like too intense. No, for me, if I encounter a snake near me, that became a traumatic experience because I'm so afraid of snakes.
Okay.
But for someone who is a snake charmer, that will be his own self-expression to be with snakes. He can play around. So trauma can be completely personal. It's subjective experience. No, so we don't have exact measurement of what could be trauma, but we can classify trauma as different ways. One is like acute traumas, like single time instances, like an accident or a disease or a death, job loss happening for a short time. Too intense, it's happening for one time, like a less duration. Another one could be what you call chronic trauma happening for a long time, like living in poverty for a long time, like emotional invalidation for a long time. No, so a lot of clients even come for abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse happening for a long time.
Wow.
No, so on complex trauma, there is a word which we use. There's a couple of trauma getting mixed. There's an emotional abuse, also physical abuse, and also poverty. So when the child or person is exposed with this multiple levels of trauma, that is called complex trauma.
Okay.
And there is also intergenerational trauma.
Okay.
Intergenerational means, see, it's not only what I go through on a personal level, it is almost what my family members, my ancestors has gone through. Whichever is unhealed, it gets to pass down.
Okay.
There is this scientist, Rachel Yehuda, who had done a research. You know, you heard about this Holocaust survivors, like when what do you call Hitler was there. He put all this Jewish community in a what do you call concentration camps. So they went through like horrific treatment. Most of them died. Very few came out of it, and they all settled in different parts of Europe. So when they came out, what they noticed, Rachel did a long study. What she found out is when who were that Holocaust survivors, their children, great grandchildren, the great grandchildren didn't even any clue about what their great grandparents has gone through. Their Holocaust survivors, they had not even discussed with their families. But when the Holocaust survivors came back, they had some mental challenges, mood disorders, some rage, panic, fear. So the scientists found out that the great grandchildren also have similar capacities, similar tendencies. So that means trauma that is unhealed, unprocessed to my ancestors, it is going to pass down to generations. We call this vertical axis and horizontal axis. It's like my ancestors to me, your ancestor for you, that is vertical. And because you're also living in the same zone, it's a horizontal. So that makes the trauma consciousness.
Okay. Okay.
So we're living in a trauma conscious world.
Mm-hmm. So
in which that shapes our action or thinking.
Okay. So you have helped many people with trauma. You have helped people suffering from anxiety, depression, psychiatric tensions, psychological problems, something related with stress, lot of things through your Academy of Inner Wisdom. So we would love to hear that what all the initiatives you propose to do with Academy of Inner Wisdom. What are the services do you offer?
Yeah, so I can actually connect with my learning journey. So once I started learning about trauma, I realized trauma is not only in the mind, in the language of what we do, think, feel. It is on the entire nervous system.
Okay.
right? It's like the brain is not only here. So through the nerves, it's there from head towards the feet.
Yes.
So then I understood like trauma is also any emotion, any challenge which is unprocessed, unhealed. So the body kind of keeps this memory of that.
Okay.
So it's in the nervous system. So we notice when you feel anxious, the muscle getting tensed. Now there is an breathing becoming faster, or we tend to hold the breath. The various physiological changes happens. So that enabled me to understand more about somatic practices. Somatic is body-based practices.
Okay.
There are two types of. One is like when you talk about traditional counseling, they talk about language-based, like it's a cognitive-based. No, so here we talk about body-based.
Yes.
So body-based includes the nervous system. It's like there are two types of nervous fibers communication goes in the body. Like one is called afferent and efferent. Suppose something hits my hand, something hits here. So this sensation from the afferent fibers goes to the brain. When the brain processes, it responds back as pain or shouting, I screaming, I feel anger or I feel fear, I shout, scream, I rub, all those action I do. If you look at 80% is afferent fibers, sensory fibers. So from the body it goes to the brain, 20% comes back.
Okay.
So that is what somatic practices talks about. How do we feel from inside? What is happening to us? No, when too much intense, people kind of have lost in their head. They don't know what is happening below their neck. So that led me to explore more of somatic practices like movements. I do something called TRE, tension and trauma releasing exercise. I do sounder sleep system. So I combine various body practices. So this basically to regulate, bring a sense of relief to the body, to the breath, and then working with the mind. So I work with basically trauma, developmental trauma, happens from the childhood. As I talk about complex trauma, so and also do work on sleep, because I understood when I started my journey, I realized most of the people who had extreme stress, anxious, or trauma, the sleep is getting impacted. So that made me curious about what is sleep. Then I understood that, like, if you sleep like naturally, restfully, almost 80% of the health issues can be taken care, can be addressed. We don't need anything else apart from that.
Okay.
So I learned practices how to bring that restful sleep.
Okay.
So we do like somatic practice, like sounder sleep system. It combines gentle movements. We do some breath work and then iris yoga nidra. So that enhances the sleep quality. So I work with this trauma patterns, and I also do breath work.
Wow.
So basically, I have clientele based, we say from teens to elderly people. I deal with starting from exam stress, migraine, sleeplessness.
That is very important, sir.
Burnout.
Yes, for the students. And this is awesome, actually. A lot of people, it will help. They don't even know what they are going through sometimes. And this is a better place to get them healed. Doctor, talking about sleep, once the great Rinpoche said, who is Dalai Lama, said that sleep is a best meditation. So talking about sleep, how important sleep is, and how much hours should a person sleep, and what kind of implications will irregular sleep cycles cause on a human being?
Okay. Sleep, as I said, is a biological need. Biological need means if you feel hungry, we can eat.
Okay.
Feeling thirsty, we drink. For today's world, sleep is highly compromised word. We think sleep is like a sponge. We can squeeze it to the maximum. No? So we keep delaying the sleep because of the work challenges, social media. So we keep delaying it. No sleep onset. So the important element in sleep, is sleep has 4 stages: N1, N2, N3, N4.
Okay.
So N1 to N3 is called non-REM, that is non-rapid eye movement.
Okay.
Like when you sleep, there is a phase where eye moves.
Yes.
That processes something. So that is called REM sleep. We have dreams, no? That is when we have dreams, rapid eye movement. So we have non-REM and REM part of sleep. This happens around 90 minutes to 110 minutes in a cycle. So the important significance is the N3 part of sleep. So N3 part is when, to explain N3, we look at N1 is like when we feel when you get into bed, we feel like that dreamy, drowsy, kind of hazy state.
Yes.
No, so then we enter into N2. N2 is like we lose sense of all the visions, sounds. We slowly stop hearing that. On the taste sensations and the sound, and the noises, all those gets reduced.
Okay.
So when we enter into N3, we go into very deep state of sleep.
Okay.
We lose in touch of all the sensations, basically. Notice. So it is an N3 sleep, the deep inner work happens. So there is something called, there is a part in brain which creates neural pattern, nucleus ceruleus.
Okay.
So it comes online, it heals itself during this N3 part of sleep.
Okay.
That is when deep stress pattern, once created to support us, the neural pattern, now degenerates, reduces. Also, the growth hormones essential for growth, generation, metabolism.
Metabolism.
So
Yes.
he said when you go to gym and work out, it's not growth doesn't happen when you're working out, but when you're resting.
Oh.
So that happens on the N3 state of sleep. So that sleep is highly important. And the significance is we talk about N1 to N3 or N4. So this first stage, like especially that happens before midnight, is a profound importance for N3 because that is when N3 phase is much more higher, much more deeper. After midnight, the REM sleep takes over. Even the other phases are there, more about REM sleep. That is why early morning when you get up with a lot of dreams, we remember something. No, you can wake up with some dreams.
Yeah.
So that is a significance. But with today's world, we are delaying the sleep onset, going to bed by 12, 1. We are reducing the quality of N3 sleep itself.
Wow, sir. So how long a person should sleep, sir? Roughly?
Yeah, ideally 7 to 9 hours. It's a common factor, generalized term.
Okay, okay.
And it also depends upon individual to individual. There are some rare people, like I've heard about Narendra Modi, he sleeps only for 3 hours.
Yeah.
For some people, that is sufficient.
Okay.
And it's very rare. It's not person-to-person scenario.
Okay.
It's not they have special capabilities. It's a gene factor involved.
Okay, okay.
Sleep is also like inherited.
Oh, okay. Everything is inherited. Okay. I was only blaming myself for a lot of things, and I should blame my ancestors from now. So that is there.
Yeah, but access is we have that healing journey. I can take my step forward to bring that healing. So my future generation, I can pass on that battle of healing.
Okay. Doctor, very important thing is talking about your LinkedIn post. A lot of exciting information that we are getting from, we are able to learn from LinkedIn. One of the term which I saw is, and you also said it a few minutes ago, is TRE Workshop. This workshop is proposed to deliver, and if anyone wants to register for the workshop, from where they can approach, can you please share a few details about the workshop, sir?
TRE is tension and trauma releasing exercise.
Okay.
It was created by Dr. David Berceli. Okay. So David Berceli was a person who was working in war-prone zones,
okay,
like Palestine, Yemen. So when he was working, he noticed one strange thing. When gunfiring happening near the civilians kind of went into cringing mode. When you have fear experience, we do that. For me, kind of body goes into this mode, and the body was shaking.
Okay.
So he was curious to observe that fact. Especially children were doing that more than adults.
Okay.
So then he did research on neuroscience. Then he came out with practice of TRE. So that means we have this innate ability, body can shake to release anxious energy.
Okay.
I would observe when people are restless, they shake their legs, shake their foot, they fiddle with their pens. No, keep happening. We, in name of etiquette, we kind of suppress it. We don't do that. But that is actually a body is trying to release a nervous energy through that pattern.
Okay.
So when you shake for a few minutes, so then it releases. We feel comfortable after that. So that is a design. That's a natural design. Now every animals in the wild, they go through this process of shaking. So suppose a rabbit is there. Rabbit is it is gazing in its field. So it is miscued a predator that is approaching it. So it's wanted to, when it sees that predator is coming and bouncing on it, it's trying to escape, but it couldn't. What happens is it goes to kind of shutdown mode. So shutdown mode is designed so that the animal doesn't feel pain. It's like play dead. Now also this mode helps the animal to survive narrowly, because then the carnivore think that the animal is already dead. There's no fun in having it, or I can come and have later. Because this carnivores, they have the practice of that they need to jump, eat, bounce. They want to that hunt and eat, so they can escape as well. So if they escape, so the rabbit doesn't, or any animal doesn't wake up and get into wild as it is. So it gets up and it shakes. It does movements, shaking his head, his body. So that happens. If you see that, so then this releases that pent up stress and anxiety from the body when the shaking happens. So in this shaking, because in the wild, the animals can't hold trauma. When it's holding trauma, it can't survive. So this shaking is a way it releases the traumatic memories or event that happened, and then it restores its equilibrium back, goes back to life. We can also see some of these patterns in, when thunder comes, the dogs are shaking. Sometimes we have seen that. So we human beings were trying to suppress it. All the domesticated animals also learn to suppress it in the name of etiquette. For domesticated animals, because the presence of a caretaker is there, so it doesn't have to shake. So they can hold them. But shaking is a way which it's naturally designed to release the pent-up stress. Because what happens when you're dealing with a lot of stress, trauma for a long time, there is a muscle contraction happens, especially the core muscles, something called psoas muscles. So these muscles begin to contract and we feel suffocated from inside. So that is when most of the time we feel our breathing is not deeper. We end up doing shallow breathing or I'm holding the breath. So we're not free from inside. So this TR is designed to release this chronic muscular patterns. Now we do some 6 stretches and then we induce a natural way of shaking. And most it maybe looks different. People I have been doing it for some time, and people, including, when they begin to shake, it was something curious, strange thing, but they actually love it.
Okay.
They actually like it. It's kind of connecting, soothing feeling to them.
Wow.
So doing it in a much more controlled, with a professional support, can help us to regulate a lot of this tension, stress from the body can be healed. It activates something called parasympathetic state, which is very important for healing.
Okay.
Parasympathetic is where we feel calm, nourished, restful. So the body returns to equilibrium.
Okay. Wow. That is beautiful, sir. Really, this is the first time I'm listening to, I've ever heard of such a practice that is very, that causes soothing effects. And talking about animals, you gave an example of animals. Today's social media also, I saw a post, a tiger attacked a person who tried to take selfie with the animals. And dear viewers, always I would like to tell this is animals in captivation is suffering through a lot of things, and taking selfies and all those things and troubling all those animals in the zoo is not a good idea. Sometimes they will definitely attack you, so please be careful and don't harm any animals as far as possible. Anyway, so thank you so much for that insights. So, Doctor, talking about one of another LinkedIn post, which is so interesting to read about perfectionism, men and women. So, talking about men and women, who comes and approaches you, or mostly on the statistics, who gets a lot of problems? And when we are treating the men and women, is there any gender-based treatment for them, or it's the common treatment applies for both of the people? So mostly, who is suffering through this stress, anxiety, or problems?
Stress, anxiety, both genders suffers equally.
Okay.
Like they go through, it's a human tendency to go through it more than women and men. But for me, what I feel is most of my clients are women.
Okay. Wow.
Like men are kind of still feel uncomfortable or vulnerable to take support.
Yes. Okay.
So I was actually curious about this. So I started looking at why is this pattern.
Mhm.
Then understood that neurobiology of men and women.
Okay.
Because men, if you look at cavemen, were doing more of hunting.
Okay.
Like women role was take care of family needs, nurturing them.
Mhm.
So the men can't be much emotional. They can't succumb towards emotionally in front of an animal. So they will be they will be a food for that animal.
Mhm.
So they can't survive. So they need to learn to suppress their emotions
Okay.
and be with the threat in front of them.
Understood.
So either to hunt it or even to escape.
Mm.
So that is in the neurobiology. So they learned either to solve the problem or be silent, ignore it.
Okay.
So that's in the neurobiology. Also, culturally, men are designed, like men can be aggressive.
Yes.
When they feel uncomfortable, they can be aggressive, they can shout and scream. That is highly, what you call accepted term in the society.
It naturally triggers that, sir. Sometimes, we have to be patient. Sometimes sudden aggression comes. I don't know where it comes, actually. Something doesn't happen, we get angry.
Yes. And women, on the other end, because there's a neurobiological also, they learn to take care of family needs. So they was doing farming. It needs a lot of cooperation, support, social elements. So they're part of the nervous system, and the hormonal is designed to connect with each other.
Mm.
So they like to connect, they like to share, listen. So there is a bonding. So all this happens.
Mm.
So this makes them, and also culturally, women can be much more harsh and insensitive.
Mm.
They need to be there to take care of other needs, and for them, crying is okay.
Okay.
So this is also now culturally, what do you call it? It's like much more accepted. Women can cry, men can shout and scream.
Crying is a cathartic release. Am I right in saying that, sir? Yes, it actually relieves people. But I don't know, men doesn't cry. I don't cry for anything, and I usually get angry or frustrated easily. But females, they do cry, so it releases the stress. I don't know. It works.
See, both are same thing. See, even crying and anger intensely. So crying is okay. It's not like bad something. Anger is okay. But it's when it expands the limit, when it goes to a rage or anxious mode, panic mode, so then it becomes a cathartic practice. Too much of crying, too much of anger, shouting, screaming, doing things. It's also a cathartic, intense practice.
Okay.
But it's naturally, it's good to cry. Because
Okay.
crying is a practice that helps us to connect with the core muscles. It
Okay.
engages the core muscles. So that also gives a sense of relief.
Okay. So that's
So this norms to be changed now in today's world. Like men also can be given a space to be vulnerable. They don't have to be stoic, right? Being one way, so they can be vulnerable, share their open up. So they egalitarian society.
Yes, sir. So talking about psychological tensions, talking about restlessness, a lot of people have a lot of approaches to address this problem. Recently, I heard a conversation of Dr. Georgia Eid, who is an international expert in metabolism and nutrition psychiatry. She said she actually proposed that there is a nutrition based alternative for instead of using psychiatric medicines to heal the tensions, the psychological tensions, or even restlessness. So from your practices, will the practicing of breathing and meditation, will it address the problem of tension and restlessness? So how impactful it will be, and what is the proper way of doing meditation and the breathing practices, sir?
So breathing meditation definitely helps.
Okay.
Yeah, there has been research done on that as well. So the food is one aspect, body work is another aspect. It's a holistic approach for healing.
Okay.
So most of us, even clients come to me that I can't meditate. I sit for 10 minutes. Some clients say they sit for 1 hour, but they can't meditate. They're just forcing themselves to sit, and they get more restless at the end of that.
Okay.
So whereas meditation is designed, to calm us down. That's what we think.
Yes.
So there is an approach to meditation. So the basic foundation of meditation is when you're sitting, you need to be restful.
Okay.
When you're already anxious, restless, then we can't sit, meditate for a long time.
Yeah.
So if you look at even Patanjali, the yoga scripture, it says, first is movement, asanas.
Okay.
Then is breath work, pranayama. Next come the meditation stages like dharana, like pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi is the end state.
Okay.
So the restlessness in the body through asanas has to be taken out. So the awareness from the outside world is now brought in. How am I feeling now inside? What is happening to my muscles? So bring that awareness. Since it's called interoception awareness.
Okay.
So then through pranayama, we stabilizes that anxious energies.
Okay.
Because breathing, so every breath has a different frequency. When you're feeling different emotions or breathing patterns differs.
Okay.
So when you're happy, we breathe in a very different way than we are sad.
Okay.
When you're angry, we breathe in a very different way than you're fearful.
Okay.
So through breathing, we can regulate those emotions as well. We can bring a sense of restfulness to the mind. So body and the so-called the thoughts and mood, that has to be settled. When that is settled, then we can sit into meditative practices. So then we can actually go into a very deep state of meditations.
Okay. So meditation does definitely heal the psychological tension.
It is.
Yes.
It is, because meditation, it is prone to reduce that amygdala. Amygdala is an emotional brain.
Okay. Okay.
Now, when you're dealing with stressful, amygdala activates, where it keeps in a stressful loop.
Okay, doctor.
So meditation is actually enhances the prefrontal cortex or executive functioning of the brain. So this is one tells that, okay, what you're fearful, it's not actually real. That would happen in the past. But right now, in this moment, you're okay.
Okay.
So that awareness gets built by the prefrontal cortex.
Okay.
So meditation, practicing it regularly, enhances this pathways for the prefrontal cortex.
Okay. Doctor, it's been a wonderful session. Actually, I request you to give permission to give all the details like LinkedIn and all the TRE workshop details in the video description, and also a contact detail for others and viewers, everybody who wishes to heal and cure themselves, to approach you and be a part of the Academy of Inner Wisdom and build a better life for them. Actually, honestly, from my heart, this is a great contribution from your side to the society, and we wish that a lot of people get healed and will be able to build a beautiful life out of this. Guys who suffering from trauma, anxiety, any sort of mental tensions, or whatever you feel, you want to just open up and approach Academy of Inner Wisdom, just be a part of it, and you will be cured, and it will help you to live a happy life. So thank you so much, and we are very grateful for your time, and have a good evening, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunities. And I'll give you the link of my details. You can share it
Please, sir.
along with that.